Alright, everybody, welcome back to yet again another video, and today we continue our free agency previews with the restricted free agents. So the restricted free agents are a little bit different because a lot of these guys have been qualified. So basically, more or less is talking about like what kind of contract they're gonna get. Because not a lot of these players, at least in this year's, are going to like be actually get traded or get offer sheeted. There may be some offer sheets tomorrow, but as of right now, I can't really see one happening. It's very rare we see one. The last one we saw was in 2021, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, or that was one of the biggest one that we've seen since then. So, and it doesn't happen often, and it's happened only, I think, one time, or maybe one or two times in my entire channel history since I started this in 2020, and Kotkaniemi is the only one that I remember making a video on. So, yeah, anyways, we'll get into the RFAs for this year, and yeah, let's do it. All right, starting off at number one is Ottawa Senators forward Alex DeBrincat, who played 82 games played, 27 goals, 39 assists, 66 points. DeBrincat, honestly, a player that is very talented, no doubt, but there is some rumors that he's going to get traded. He doesn't want to stay in Ottawa long term, which the Sens are not okay with, so they're likely going to move him. Now it's uncertain when he's going to get moved. I figured he'd get traded at the draft, but he did not. So I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen there with him. We'll see, of course, but as of right now, there's nothing really surrounding that. I've seen teams inquire on the Islanders for the latest I've seen. Apparently, he's not going to the Red Wings now, so there's a lot of things going on there with the Brinkett. But as of right now, we won't know. Most likely, they'll take him to arbitration, and they'll get a contract signed there, and then he'll probably be traded at the trade deadline, which is what I expect to happen trade deadline next season. Next up, then, is Anaheim's Trevor Zegras, who played 81 games this season, had 23 goals, 42 assists, 65 points. A talented forward. There's no question he'll get himself a good contract. I would expect it to be signed very, very soon, but I would expect probably around the $8 million range, if I'm being honest. Probably around the same where Jack Hughes got paid. That's probably where they're going to look at, but if they get him for less, then that's obviously good for Anaheim. But of course, we're going to bring up another UFA in a second here where they do have to sign. Vince Dunn is next up there. And Vince Dunn I've been very high on for Seattle in a lot of my videos. He will get paid whenever he gets assigned to his contract. He played 81 games this season, has 14 goals, 50 assists for 64 points. I thought he took a huge step for the Seattle Kraken this past season and helped him out a lot in the playoffs, and he will get some good money. He probably gets maybe $6-7 million. I think is very possible for a player like him. He played very well this year. A very solid, underrated defenseman. He's going to get himself some good money, definitely. Troy Terry for Anaheim, the other UFA, or the other RFA, sorry. Terry this past season, 70 games played, 23 goals, 38 assists, 61 points. Terry proved, not just this season, but last season too, that he is a high talented forward and a very solid top six player. And he will probably get some good money. I would expect maybe not as much as Zegras, but probably in the $7 million range. That's where I would expect Terry to get paid at, most likely. Matias Maccelli of the Arizona Coyotes is up next there then, with 64 games played, 11 goals, 38 assists, 49 points. Maccelli's a little bit interesting with me because he's a forward that came out, obviously had a really good year in his rookie year and his contract year as well. I can't see him getting any more than $5 million. Maybe they sign him to just a 5x5 deal and they stay with that because I like Maccelli a lot. I thought he played well with Arizona this past year and helped them a lot in their rebuild. But overall, I'm kind of wondering where he's going to get offered a contract. Most likely a 5x5, maybe. That might be a big overpay in my opinion. It's a good thing I'm not a GM. It's what people comment sometimes. But yeah, Maccelli, I expect him to get some pretty solid money. Daniel Sprong, who weirdly I thought was like 32, but he's like 26. I thought he was older than he was, but I must be getting him mixed up with someone. But Sprong of the Kraken, 66 games played, 21 goals, 25 assists, 46 points. I would expect Sprong to get a good contract, or he just doesn't, or he sixth away through. I'm not sure with Sprong, honestly. He will get re-signed. He was qualified, I believe. So we'll find out what happens there with Sprong, but probably a 3-year deal around there, maybe a bridge contract. I don't know if they'd sign him long term. I highly doubt it. Next up, then, Morgan Frost of the Philadelphia Flyers. And I actually really liked how Frost played this season as a Flyers fan. And I look at him as one of the big improvements in Philadelphia. 81 games played, 19 goals, 27 assists for 46 points. Frost, I thought, had a solid season. Again, he probably will get a solid, probably, maybe, I don't know about a long-term deal, probably a bridge contract, like a 3-year, $5 million deal, or not 5 million, maybe like a 5-year, $3 million deal or something like that. Maybe they go with some contract like that. But honestly, Frost I think could make out pretty well for himself. But he took a big step this season, and I'm expecting him to take another big step next year. But good progress this season from Frost. Keandre Miller next there for the Rangers. Solid defenseman on that blue line. 79 games played, 9 goals, 34 assists, 43 points. Miller will get a solid contract, definitely. One of my favorite defensemen on the Rangers and overall in the NHL. I think he's a very talented defender, and he will get some good money regardless. Next up then is a player who was recently traded, and it was Gabriel Velarde, who played 63 games, had 23 goals, 18 assists for 41 points. Velarde will get himself a nice contract. I was thinking like a 3x3 maybe, or a 4x4, something like that. But I think Velarde will get himself a good deal. A solid young player in Winnipeg, and they for sure won that Dubois deal. No doubt in my mind. Evan Bouchard next there then was 82 games played, 8 goals, 32 assists, 40 points. Bouchard I think took another big step on that Oilers blue line, a solid offensive and a pretty good defensive defender as well, and one of my favorites on the Oilers. I think Bouchard will get a good contract. I was thinking for Bouchard maybe a 4x4 as well, but Bouchard could want more money with seeing the defenders getting their money, so we'll of course find out there with Bouchard. Alexis Lafreniere, controversial figure. 81 games played, 16 goals, 23 assists, 39 points. We were not expecting this from Lafreniere when he was drafted 3 years ago. But look, if we're being honest, it happens with some players. Lafreniere, I feel like could get a contract similar to Capo Caco, maybe a little bit more, but of course we'll find out. But both of those players have slowly been taking steps in the NHL. I think maybe next year is when we see Lafreniere and Caco take that big step. That could happen. It's very possible. Next up, then, I have Noah Cates of the Flyers, and he was actually a Selke contender. I thought he had a really good defensive season, and, as a forward who wasn't looked at to be much at the beginning of the year, came in and played well. And the rhetoric with Tortorella and young guys needs to go away because he's done himself a damn good job with some of these young players. Cates, 82 games played, 13 goals, 25 assists, 38 points. Not a bad year from him, but still a good defensive numbered season. So I expect him to get a nice contract. And Danny Briere ain't messing around. Just going to say that right here, right now. Next up, Cody Glass. And Glass, I've been very vocal on this channel. I have liked him a lot. This past season, he fought his way to get onto the Preds roster. And he had himself a pretty solid year. 72 games played, 14 goals, 21 assists, 35 points. And I mean, hey, look, he didn't have the best year. He wasn't expected to, have this bad of a career he's had so far. But look, he's been working hard. I think it's just a step in the right direction for him, and I think he could get better as the season progresses on next year. But yeah, Glass I like a lot as another RFA there. Shane Pinto, and he finally got a full season with the Ottawa Senators to play a full year, and I thought he played very well. 82 games played, 20 goals, 15 assists for 35 points. Pinto, of course, had a very solid season. Was actually in the competition for the Calder Trophy there for a little bit, but was kind of too far away from Beniers and all them. But overall, I thought Pinto had a good year on Ottawa's very deep center core, which was proven this year, definitely. Next up, then, Ross Colton was recently traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Colton, 81 games played, 16 goals, 16 assists, 32 points. Look, he didn't do well on Tampa Bay. They moved him to Colorado. I think it's a solid move for the Avalanche. They acquire another young forward. We'll see if that helps them out. But, of course, I wouldn't expect a huge contract from Ross Colton because he had a down year this past season. But I like the move a lot for Colorado, and I think it will help them out in the future for sure. Trent Frederic is up next there for Boston. Frederic played 79 games, so pretty much a full season. He had 17 goals, 14 assists, 31 points. Again, another solid secondary scorer there. Will get a decent contract. Not a huge contract, but still a decent contract for Boston. Alex Newhook, who was coincidentally traded to Montreal, He had 82 games played, 14 goals, 16 assists for 30 points. And look, Montreal was kind of taking a risk here on Newhook. I really do believe that because Newhook is interesting because he's unproven, but he could become a really solid player. So it's more or less a high risk, high reward type trade when they acquired him. But I like it a lot for Montreal. I think Newhook will be a good player under St. Louis and all them. Next up, then I have Kalen Addison of the Minnesota Wild, who was a defender who actually had a pretty solid year. 62 games played, 3 goals, 26 assists, 29 points. Had a better season than people thought it was going to be. But yeah, overall, a solid defenseman. Will get a qualifying offer. Definitely will get an all right contract. But of course, we'll find out. Sam Steele was an RFA, but he was not qualified. Excuse me, so he will become a UFA out of Minnesota. Morgan Geekie next there for the Seattle Kraken. He played 69 games, had 9 goals, 19 assists for 28 points. Geekie, I thought, had a good year under Seattle, adding to their young core. He will get signed. Seattle actually has a lot of RFAs now that I look at it. I think they have like at least 3 that I'm covering in this video. Next up is Dallas's Ty Dellandrea, who played 82 games, had 9 goals, 19 assists for 28 points. A solid secondary scorer. Will get a qualifying offer. Will get a qualifying contract. Just a solid player all around. Christian Fischer was not qualified by the Coyotes, so he'll become a UFA, and that's a tough pill to swallow for Coyotes fans. I never liked Fischer, but he was okay this year. But he's becoming a UFA, so we'll find out. Just trust Bill Armstrong, honestly. The draft confused me, but this confused me a little bit too, but we'll find out, of course. But trust Bill Armstrong. Trust the process, and who knows? They'll probably move anyways. Next up, I'm kidding. Next up, then he got Devils forward Michael McLeod, who played 80 games, had 4 goals, 22 assists, 26 points, and all right secondary score. Kind of an AHLer at this point on the Devils. If he gets traded, I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest. Arizona's Jack McBain's up next. I thought McBain, when we got him from Minnesota, I thought that was going to be a great deal, and it was all right this year. I thought he scored some pretty clutch goals for Arizona. 82 games played, 12 goals, 14 assists for 20 points. McBain, I thought, again, was all right this year, scored some clutch goals for us, but, wasn't like the best forward in the world, but will still get a qualifying offer and get a good contract because he still is a solid restricted free agent. And then finally for the skaters, we have Tyson Jost of the Buffalo Sabres, who played 71 games, had 7 goals, 18 assists for 25 points. Didn't really fit much around Buffalo's lineup, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't qualify him, but of course we'll find out. Moving into the goaltenders, I only have 5. There weren't many notable restricted free agents that were goalies this past year, which there usually isn't. You got Ilya Samsonov as the leading one for Toronto with 42 games played, 27, 10, and 4, a 2.33 goals against average, and a .919 save percentage. I'll give credit where it's due. When the season started, I said that pairing was not going to fly in Toronto. I said it was not going to be a good pairing, and Leafs fans were going to regret it. The Leafs were going to regret it, but they didn't. They played well under Samsonov and Murray and Wall. I thought they did all right. So Samsonov will definitely get a pretty good contract out of Toronto, but they're facing a lot of questions right now when you really think about it, and some of those may be solved tomorrow. Some of them maybe not. We'll find out. Philip Gustafson up next there, and he could get paid. He had a good year. He played 39 games, had a 22-9-3 record, a 2.10 goals against average, and a .931 save percentage. Gustafson, incredible year in Minnesota. Just had an amazing year, unexpectedly great, and he could get himself a nice contract when he does get signed eventually, and Ottawa's not liking that deal right now. Jeremy Swayman of the Boston Bruins. He played 37 games, had a 24-6-4 record, a 2.27 goals against average, and a .920 save percentage. He was qualified today. He will get a nice contract in Boston. There's no doubt in my mind. Just no question. And then we move into the questionable goalies. You got Mackenzie Blackwood of the San Jose Sharks now, not the New Jersey Devils, who played 22 games, had 10-6 in the record, a 3.2 goals against average, and a .898 save percentage. Blackwood had a mediocre year, and look, he has not been the same since probably 2021 when he was all right that one season. But I think getting a new change of scenery in San Jose could help him a lot, but of course we'll find out. And last but not least, we have Lucas Dostal of the Anaheim Ducks, who played 19 games this season, had a 4-10 record, a 3.79 goals against average, and a .901 save percentage. I thought Dostal had an okay year, will get a solid contract, but nothing special. Anyways, that does it for our restricted free agents preview. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you all for watching. We will be live for tomorrow for free agency from 11:30 to probably 3 p.m., 2 p.m., around there. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.